Hi guys, so I was just looking at the Daily Mail at this story about the Archbishop of Canterbury, who apparently just admitted to have personally failed after an independent review found that this guy, John Smyth, QC, had abused over 100 children and young men, and that this was covered up by the Church of England for years. And people like the Archbishop of Canterbury had knowledge of this for years and years and didn't inform the police or anybody about this abuse. And so people are basically calling for the Archbishop to resign. And it's interesting to me because I don't really know much about the Archbishop of Canterbury. It's not somebody that I'm remotely interested in as a general rule. But I speak about this because I remember back in 2021, I believe it was, when Meghan and Harry did that documentary or interview, I should say, with Oprah Winfrey. And Meghan confessed in that documentary or during that interview that she and Harry had a secret marriage ceremony with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, days before their actual ceremony in 2018 in Windsor, right? And the Archbishop of Canterbury, I recalled, made it seem like Meghan was a liar. In fact, I would say that he really almost jump started the sort of lambasting of Meghan as a liar in the global zeitgeist. Because rather than saying, yes, indeed, Harry and Meghan had come to him and asked him to officiate a secret wedding with just the two of them, he instead made it sound like the whole thing never happened and that the only thing he's aware of is the wedding ceremony that took place, days later in front of the entire world. And so Meghan really got, lambasted by a lot of people about this. And I have never really been able to forgive Justin Welby for that because he easily could have cleared up a lot of things at that time and sort of recalibrated things for the Sussexes and with the family of the Sussexes, the Windsors, the Walesers. The Queen was alive at the time, I believe. He really could have played a role of mediator to sort of bring that family back together and also help Meghan, whose whole, reputation was on the line. And it was Meghan, after all, that the press was after. And so she, even more than Harry, needed his backing to say, yes, they had the secret, quasi ceremony, not a real ceremony, obviously, because he can only, they can only have one real marriage ceremony. I mean, I'm not sure if that's even true, but it seems that he was concerned about it being, illegal for him to have officiated this secret marriage ceremony. And so rather than say, yes, this happened, he basically threw Meghan onto the bus. And like I'm looking here at this thing in The Guardian at the time, the Archbishop of Canterbury has addressed for the first time the claim made that by the Duchess of Sussex that she and Prince Harry got married 3 days before the royal wedding. During her tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey, broadcast earlier this month, Meghan said the pair had the secret marriage ceremony with the Archbishop Justin Welby in their backyard. The Duchess said nobody knew the couple had shared personal vows for just the two of us ahead of their wedding day in Windsor on Saturday, 19th May 2018. However, it was thought that this could not have been a legal ceremony as it lacked witnesses and a registered venue and was instead likely to have been an informal exchange of vows. In an interview with the Italian newspaper La Repubblica, Welby was asked about what happened. He said the legal wedding took place on the Saturday, adding, "But I don't want to say what happened at any other meetings." The Archbishop told the paper, "If any of you ever talk to a priest, you expect them to keep the talk confidential. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I had a number of private and pastoral meetings with the Duke and Duchess before the wedding. The legal wedding was on Saturday. I signed the wedding certificate, which is a legal document, and I would have committed a serious criminal offense if I had signed it knowing it was false." So he continues, during the interview, Meghan had told Winfrey, 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that, but we called the Archbishop and we said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union to be between us. Now, on a certain level, I understand on a certain level why the Archbishop might not have wanted to admit that he had performed this ceremony because, you know, I don't know that it would have been a serious criminal offense because people can get married in Vegas and then they can get married at the Justice of the Peace and then they can have a marriage in a church, and all three of these are, getting married on some level. One of them would be the legal, marriage where they get the marriage certificate. But, it was a very technical point, in other words. And my beef with Justin Welby was the fact that he could have responded in such a way so as to say, yes, there was something that occurred with the Sussexes in their backyard. No, it was not the real, final marriage ceremony. That obviously took place in public. But we did, have a situation in the backyard. They exchanged vows. I officiated. So for them and for me, it was, real. But the official ceremony took place. The way he handled it, it just made Meghan look like a liar. And I just lost respect for him because of that. Because, he could have played a different role to sort of, get the family and Meghan back into sort of, not the fold, but he could have really, really made a difference with how he handled it. So I just feel like now that he has lost the confidence of the clergy. It says here, Justin Welby has lost confidence of the clergy. Archbishop of Canterbury facing mounting pressure to quit for ignoring sex abuse by Church of England's most prolific abuser. I kind of feel like it's karma. I can't even say any different. It's total karma for him, and it just goes to show that he's not really honest. He's not an honest man, because if he was honest, he would have been honest about what happened with Meghan and Harry in the backyard, that he officiated a marriage ceremony for them. He would have been honest. And if he was honest, he would have been honest about what happened with this abuser, and he would have contacted the police. He has selective morality. He chooses his morality based on the situation. He covers up for an abuser because I guess the abuser was his friend, and he threw Meghan under the bus because he saw that Meghan didn't have friends in the royal family, and so he wanted to be on the popular side. So really, he lacks a moral backbone. He lacks a moral spine. He lacks a moral compass. And frankly, how can you really look at this man as the head of anything, never mind the head of the clergy and the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is, second only to the King of England, right? Because the King of England is the head of the church, which that itself is a whole other thing, right? That's a whole other thing, especially with these stories about him and William being slumlords and, milking the British people, even dead people and people, it's amazing, right? It's amazing.